This is my setup. It isn't perfect, but there are days I feel like it's everything I've ever dreamt of, and that I finally achieved that Pinterest-worthy setup. But to be honest with you, there were also days when everything felt like this. Lately though, I think I finally cracked the code. Every piece that I've added to the setup feels intentional, and it no longer feels like a cluttered mess, and more like controlled chaos, if that makes sense. Brick by brick, we're starting to feel right at home and more productive than ever before. But from the start, it never used to be this way. I would find myself getting distracted super easily, and to be honest, one scroll would turn into an endless doom scrolling session. The temptations to relax and treat myself to a long night of gaming were definitely hard to avoid. The problem is that I made it that way. So it was up to me to change that environment. I wanted things to flow and feel frictionless, so that when I do get the chance to unwind and relax, it feels earned and guilt-free. Although this didn't come without its own fair share of resistance in just taking the first step. Things needed to change, and I was willing to make that investment to transform my creative haven. In this video, I'm going to explain how I've turned my organized chaos of a setup into a decently functioning home office where I create all of my content and spend a majority of my time indulging in my hobbies. My hope is that you gain a sense of clarity and aha moments so that you can take everything that you learn in this video and apply it to your own home office that'll work for you and not against you. My current setup is broken down into 3 zones. Without taking too much time, let me briefly break it down for you. Zone 1 is what I like to call work hard, play hard. This is where I get all of my creative work done, but also where I spend time quote unquote relaxing. And Zone 2 is my hobby corner. This space is a newly developed area of my home office. It's where I like to spend time making things for the many different hobbies I have. And Zone 3 is super special because this is the fun wall, but we'll get back onto that later. For now, let's focus on Zone 1. The purpose here is focusing on accomplishing 2 things. Get as much work done as fast as I can, as efficiently as possible, so that I can get back to the fun stuff. When I first put my space together, the line between work and play, it was heavily blurred, and everything funneled through my gaming PC that I strictly built for live streaming. But after moving away from that streaming space after 8 long years, I needed a clear separation for content creation and gaming. Because anytime that I wanted to work on creating content on my PC, I'm telling you, the distractions would hit me left and right. And you know what? Here's the solution that I came to, although it was a hefty price to pay. And that was to invest in a second machine that I would use purely for content creation. This single purchase would then set up a chain reaction to all the different changes of my desk setup. Like month after month, Amazon boxes just kept rolling in and it felt like Christmas every single week. All of these new additions helped me get into a creative flow and boost my productivity. Like when I'm looking to add products to my space, they have to be able to solve a problem, enhance the quality of my life, and integrate seamlessly into my workflow. And also bonus points that right out of the box, they just work like it's plug and play, and the product also has to feel good. And if those 2 boxes are checked, that's a clear indicator that it makes the cut for my setup. And as great as my MacBook can be, it has a blaring flaw. I'm super limited with the amount of peripherals that I'm actually able to connect to it. And at the time when my MacBook got released, there weren't actually a lot of Thunderbolt 5 compatible docks out there. When I checked, it was mainly for Thunderbolt 4. So I made the decision just to wait it out a bit and see if there's any companies that would release a Thunderbolt 5 dock, because I was ready to make a purchase. But that was until a company called Ivanki reached out to me and introduced to me this bad boy. This powerful device is the Fusion Dock Max 2. And yes, it's a MacBook dock for Thunderbolt 5. And before we spend the next few minutes actually talking about this device, I just want to clarify something really quick. Yes, they gave me the dock, but here's the thing. I actually have free reign to say whatever I want about it, all the things that I like and all the things I dislike, and my opinion is my own. And it just so happened that I was actually working on this exact video and the opportunity just kind of lined up. Like I said before, I've been in the market for a MacBook dock ever since buying my laptop. What's really cool is that this dock keeps everything so neat and tidy on my desk. Before, I had so many cables plugged into my MacBook, but all of that can now funnel into the dock itself. My SD cards, my SSDs, all of my monitors, I can even plug my audio interface into here. It's these small layers of convenience that really add up and make your workflow that much smoother. Let's also not forget that this is a MacBook dock for Thunderbolt 5, so the way that I used to transfer footage before just felt super slow, and now that I have this dock in my hands, all these transfer speeds are just lightning fast. But there's a couple things you do need to know if you are thinking about picking up this dock. If you have an Intel-based MacBook Pro, unfortunately it's not going to be compatible with the Fusion Dock Max 2. But also sorry for the PC homies who are out there, unfortunately this is not compatible with Windows either. But if you want to see a full breakdown video and just seeing the full capabilities of this dock, let me know in the comments down below. Also, really quick, we were provided with an affiliate link, so if you want to use that to buy this dock and you're thinking about it, I'll put it in the description box down below. And also, as a bonus, you can also use my code to stack on their current Black Friday sale, so hopefully that helps out a little bit and it makes it a little bit more affordable for you. Okay, so everything that I've added so far makes working in my space for hours on end a comfortable and seamless experience. I can go from full-on productivity mode and play mode by making a couple of quick swaps here and there. For example, when I'm done with my content work, I can slide my keyboard and my mouse under my desk shelf and then put my MacBook to sleep and then boot up my gaming PC to hop on with the squad for a little bit of Valo time. This entire area of my setup also has many other purposes. It's where I film all of my short form and long form content. It's also purposely set up so that I can capture any idea that pops into my brain as quickly as possible. Everything is within arm's reach because with the way that my brain works, I'm a complete scatterbrain. So if I don't act as soon as inspiration strikes, I'm gonna forget, the idea will sit and everything will just fade away. One of the important things for me lately is balancing my health. So if I'm sitting at my desk for hours on end, I just know it's inevitable that my posture is going to be that of a shrimp. And to counteract that, I actually have a walking pad that's set up right behind my door. And what I'll do is that I'll pull it out, I'll put it underneath my desk, I'll set up my monitor and adjust the height, and then I'll throw on an episode of anime that I've been meaning to watch and catch up on. And cousin, this is such a blessing. It is the perfect combo of balancing my health, but also indulging in my hobby of watching anime. We've talked a lot about productivity and how all these things in my space work together so that I can be as productive as I can and also allow me the space to just relax and decompress. And another way that I can do that is moving over into another zone of my office, which is zone number 2. This area is what I like to call my hobby corner. This is huge because in order to keep myself sane, I have a bunch of hobbies that I delve into. In fact, growing up, I gained a lot of these hobbies from my older cousins, but as a young kid, I was broke. Okay, I had $2 to my name, and so all the figures and collectibles, game consoles, the list goes on. It was all very much out of reach. Now fast forward to the present day, I have an adult job, and I also have free will. Well, let's just say I like to splurge on all the things that I never got to fully enjoy as a kid. And this exact corner is where I get to enjoy all of that. And basically all the time that I spend here is healing a part of my inner child. If I'm wanting to build a model kit, I can pull one from my never-ending backlog on top of this shelf and then set it up at this desk. But right now, I'm actually really limited on space, so I'm looking to make an expansion soon. And the reason why is because recently I picked up this 3D printer from Bamboo Lab. This is the P2S model. And you know that feeling where you feel like there's always been something missing in your life? Yeah, that's this exact feeling right here. This printer was the bridge to integrate all of my hobbies. Every single accessory that I can think of that I need for my hobbies, I'm now able to print for them. Prime example, something that I've been wanting to practice lately is my toy photography. And so you know what I did? I found a 3D print file of a photo studio base and waited a few hours and bam. Now I got my own little makeshift photo studio set up for my collectibles and all my action figures. The possibilities are endless. I'm totally geeking out right now, but I just had to show this to you. And if you want to see more of this 3D printing journey and geek out with me further, let me know down in the comments. This was pretty brief, but everything is still a work in progress, as the current desk that I'm using right now was actually my old desk before I upgraded my current setup. The desk is relatively short, it's not as stable, and I feel quite limited on space, especially with this super messy battery charging station I got going on for all my camera gear. But here's the thing, even if everything seems a bit scattered, it made me realize that I'm actually utilizing the zone as its intended purpose. Now this is where things get a little bit more interesting. As promised, let's talk about Zone 3, the fun wall. For the longest time, it felt like I was suppressing my personality, everything that made me me, and I wasn't being able to utilize the space to its fullest potential in showing off the things that I love. And so I thought about it. What if I had one big wall that just had everything? I'm talking all my action figures, art from my favorite artists, trading cards, and just display it in one big wall. Dual purpose, it serves also as a YouTube background for my videos. For all the videos that I work on and all of my content, I draw inspiration from all of my hobbies. Everything has been carefully selected and curated to give me a boost of creativity just by simply glancing over my shoulder or even looking up. This was the main driver in being able to really call this home office my own. It's the glue that ties everything together and adds my entire personality into the mix. You want to be able to create a space that feels comfortable, both physically and visually. A good balance of both work and play. This is why I have all of my filming gear set up and ready to go, but I also have all of my figures and collectibles out in plain sight so I can walk over, change the pose on these guys, move things around, and it feels like my inner child is healed every time that I do that. If I want to take a look at my card collection, I can pull it out from under this shelf and just start enjoying it. And the beautiful thing is that I'm not even limited by just this one fun wall that I have here. It's spread out through my entire office. The little action figures that are on my desk, or even this display case with some of my favorite model kits that I've built over the past couple of years. You can truly see that anime and art is the creative driving force of my inspiration. Having everything on display makes it feel like I can reflect my true self in the way that things are arranged. This is why I put so much importance on having everything out in the open. So cousin, don't be afraid to let your own personality shine through. Make the space your own. Anything that can spark that level of inspiration inside of you, I highly recommend that you just put it out there. And that's exactly why this is called the fun wall, and why it's one of the most important but super integral part of my home office. And so does it answer the question if it makes me more productive? That is a resounding yes. You've seen my desk setup and how I've invested in products that actually serve a purpose and make me more productive. You've also seen my hobby corner, which keeps me incredibly sane and balancing my work and my play. And now you've seen my fun wall, where I draw all of my creative inspiration from just by looking over my shoulder or even at the tiny details on my desk. It's everywhere. This has been the culmination of 10 years from when I first started working on my setup. As the saying goes, Rome was never built in a day. My advice to you is to take your time. You don't need to buy everything from the start. And look, I know you, and I also know me, and that's how my brain works. From the get-go, I wanted to buy everything, but for real, just chill. Buy one thing at a time. This will be an ongoing project that you'll be tinkering with for years to come. Your taste will change, and trust me, it will. The things you found interest in before may not hit the same way years from now. Trust the creative process and everything will slowly start to make sense. You'll add things that work, and you'll also go through a culling phase of removing items that no longer serve a purpose. That's the beauty of making a space your own. You get to decide what you want or what you don't want in your space. Taking the time to plan out what you want or even creating a mood board for your setup will save you a ton of time in the process. Be super intentional when you're building it piece by piece. You need to ask yourself, is this actually making me more productive, or will it actually be a stumbling block in your creative flow? There are so many other projects I have yet to complete, and I'm finding that I'm always in a constant state of trying to make tiny tweaks and improvements every single day. For example, there is a zone in my office that I actually didn't really get to talk about and just briefly shown, but it's a huge project that I'm thinking of overhauling within the next year. And the main problem is how I'm actually going to store all of my gear, but do it in a way that feels less cluttered and visually pleasing. There's a certain level of peace that comes with taking a moment to sit back, be present, and be proud of the setup that you have right here, right now. And when I take a look around in my space, I'm actually proud to say that I've built something that feels good and makes me feel more productive than ever before. And I hope that for you, you can create that same exact feeling for yourself as well. Stay blessed, cousin, and happy creating.